I'm Joni, executive producer on Sea of Thieves.
I'm Shelley Preston, senior designer.
Sea of Thieves launched just over a year ago on March 20th, and we're obviously here to talk about the anniversary update, but a lot's happened in the last year. So we started off our kind of service of Sea of Thieves with the Hungering Deep, which was our first major content update, and we introduced the Megalodon along with this really cool kind of time-limited campaign, which was really us introducing like a quest and lore and story into our world and testing it out and seeing does it work in a shared world, and it was a resounding success with our players, and so that led us into some of the future stuff that Shelley's going to talk about in a sec. Beyond that, we did Curse Sails, which introduced skeleton ships. We did the Forsaken Shores, which introduced volcanoes, the rowboat as a really cool new mechanic. Then Shrouded Spoils at the end of the year, which really took all the stuff we've added and mixed up the whole recipe and made skeleton ships roam the world now and not just be bosses you could kind of go and seek out and fight. There were Megalodons we'd introduced. Now there were different varieties, and they had rewards if you killed them. The Kraken as well, you could get rewards if you managed to defeat it. And so it was just a really rich experience. There's fog as well, like this really cool atmospheric kind of thing in the world. So, and that really drove such great streaming success. It drove new players to Sea of Thieves, it drove old players back, and like all of our key kind of numbers went through the roof. And so that gave us a real kind of boost coming into where we are now, which is all of the anniversary update stuff.
Yeah, so with the anniversary update, which is coming out on April 30th, we have Tall Tales. We have a volume of Tall Tales, there's 9 tales, and together they make the Shores of Gold as a story. So you can play each one, and these are kind of Sea of Thieves' answer to authored like lore and story quests. So they are an authored tale that players can go on, but still within that shared Sea of Thieves world. And you can replay them, they all play out slightly differently, so the core of the story is the same, but they always have little bits and pieces that can change along the way, so there's tons of reason to replay them. And together, like each one is its own story, but it makes up this bigger piece of story. So we've really gone deep on that lore and story of Sea of Thieves. And then alongside that we have fishing, which is something that a lot of players have asked for, and cooking and the harpoon. And so the harpoon is like a really, really cool tool that you can use. You can harpoon like chests out of the water, barrels out of the water. You can even get other players. You can even take things out of someone's hand if they're carrying them, which is super cool as well. Yeah, it's Joe's favourite thing. Yeah. And so alongside the fishing and cooking, we have the Hunter's Call Company. So they are a trading company fronted by Merrick, who we first saw back with the Hungering Deep. He's kind of came back from his travels looking for the Megalodon, and now he just wants to fish and cook stuff. And you can progress with those. So previously, players who got to Pirate Legend, they needed to get to Reputation 50 with our 3 existing companies. We now have 5 companies, and players can get to level 50 with any 3 of their choosing, so there's a lot more choice about how you get there. So one of those ways could be via the Hunter's Call with the fishing and the cooking, but then there's also the Sea Dogs in the arena, so that's the other big part of the anniversary update. So the arena is Sea of Thieves' take on competition and what that means in Sea of Thieves world. So it's kind of like looking at Sea of Thieves and distilling the best pieces of Sea of Thieves down into a kind of high-octane, 24-minute, really competitive mode, but one that we hope appeals to a much broader audience than perhaps traditional competitive modes, because similar to how we brought new people into multiplayer games with Adventure, we want to bring new players into competition in Arena, because it's not just about your first-person shooter skills or those kind of Twitch-based reaction play. It's about how you work together as a crew, reading maps, fixing the ship, even cooking food to keep your teammates sustained. It's all about the way that you work together. There's such a broader range of things that you can do to compete in the arena mode.
The arena is just great when you're in the mood for competition, like Tall Tales and that story, because neither Shelley or I have been involved specifically in the development of the Tall Tales, so it's going to be quite fresh for us when we go and play them, which is super cool. The harpoon as a specific feature and mechanic is the one that I love the most, because I think it is what Sea of Thieves is at its best. It's just this it's this tool you give to players that can be used in so many different ways, and you're just going to see so many stories, like someone running along the beach and you managing to harpoon a chest out of their hand, and they're just going to be like, I haven't done it yet, but I know you can do it. I've seen it in a video on our internal Teams channel, and it's and I know I'm going to do it, and when I do it, it's going to be the clip I share on Twitter. But I love what the stories we're going to see out of that single mechanic. For me, it's just Sea of Thieves at its heart. But but then there's so much else.
I think honestly, like, it is a genuine answer to say like every piece has something that I love about it, because Tall Tales, like, I love like story and I love puzzle solving. So like I have been to the team like, don't tell me I don't want to know the puzzles, because I really enjoy that puzzle solving. So Tall Tales really appeals to me, and then Arena with that kind of on-demand competition, and especially it just being that bit more approachable and that bit like different ways to win, and it can play out differently each time. It's still emergent. And then the kind of along the way pieces like the fishing. Like, I'm super proud of what we've achieved with the fishing, not having any kind of HUD and UI, all done through natural cues so that you stay immersed in that pirate world. Like, I'm really looking forward to genuinely catching all the fish and kind of filling out all my commendations. And then like Joe like did a great explanation of what's so cool about the harpoon, but then the cooking as well. Like, I've had a few play tests internally recently where I've just kind of sat on an island at a campfire and cooked, and just the atmospheric like thing that can add just along the way to adding to your stories. So honestly, every feature that's in there has something that really appeals to me personally as a player as well, because we're all players of Sea of Thieves, right? Not just developers
we
of
literally
it.
can't wait till the 30th.
Yeah.
I might even take a day off, except I can't, because if things go wrong I need to be here. Hopefully things won't go wrong.
Yeah, so Anniversary goes live on April 30th, and we hope to see everybody on the seas.
Yeah, and so all of that content comes together as one on April 30th, doesn't it? So every single thing we've talked about, you know, the Arena, the Tall Tales, all of the Tall Tales, the 9 of them, all of those features all come together April 30th. It's going to be our biggest update yet, and it's going to be...
And if you see Joe harpoon some treasure out of his hand.